Welcome back to the Nurse Niche Podcast. I'm your host, Sean. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a hot minute since I recorded an episode, so my apologies. Work's been busy as well as other non-work but passion-related activities. A couple housekeeping things. The podcast feed is live on iTunes if you haven't already figured that out. Thank you for finding it. My next step is to create a separate website. Probably won't take too much. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. It's not going to be anything ravishingly awesome, but it'll be some place to land. I'm still doing this on the fly, just recording my thoughts as they come. I think eventually I'm going to start asking for feedback and or suggestions and or going to have guests come on, although I don't know who that will be, when that will be, how that's going to happen, but it sure sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? I mean, everybody else does it. Interesting last couple shifts for me at work. This is always the difficult part as a provider, is wanting to share your quote-unquote war stories, but you have to follow the big fat hippo and make sure that you're not violating anyone's privacy. See what I did there? Hippo, hippa, wink, wink. Today's episode is inspired by events that happened during my last rotation of shifts, having to do with, once again, your emotional bank. Talk a little bit about transference and good old-fashioned crying. Showing your emotions. Nursing 101 states we're not supposed to have any kind of transference. You're not supposed to show your emotions. You're not to have any emotions for your families, for your patients. And what I mean by emotions is you're not supposed to side with them. You're not supposed to get angry with them. You're not supposed to, what's the word I'm looking for? Magnify their emotions in some way, shape, or form. By you crying, they cry more. By you getting angry, they get more angry, so on and so forth. I've always had a huge problem with this thought process, the idea that transference is a bad thing in some way. You can ask any nurse out there worth their weight in water, is that transference is going to happen, will happen, and should happen. If you don't show your emotions or don't feel any emotions while caring for another human being during such a trying and challenging time, then you might want to pick a different job. I've always been one to support the idea of crying with your patients, but you should maintain your composure. You have to maintain or stay within your role. You don't become the blubbering fool. You don't lose bodily control with the arms waving and the screaming and the yelling and things like that. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with shedding tears with your fellow human being. We deal in life and death. Let me say that again. We deal in life and death. Last time I checked, life and death is full of emotions. The wide spectrum of feels. What's so wrong with that? I think it shows a lot of empathy and apathy if you shed a tear or hold a patient's hand or give a family a hug during that moment they make those tough decisions. I think it not only helps the families and the patients if they are cognizant and aware of it, but heck, it helps you too. Self-preservation, something that we nurses are really, really bad at. We got that selfless thing down pat, taking care of others to ad nauseum exhaustion. taking care of our patients, taking care of our families, taking care of our patients' families, taking care of everything but ourselves. Do you need to become an emotional wreck with no control and having no composure? Absolutely not. You still need to be a source and a resource for those families, those friends, those patients. They look to you for guidance. They look to you for what to do next. But every so often, that family, that patient, hits you in the feels. Hit you in a place in your heart and in your emotions that, hell, I don't think you knew existed. So, that happened to me this past week. Got caught off guard. I normally maintain steadfast composure, but I quote-unquote lost it. And all the family, friends, and nurses who were around got to witness it. And I'll admit it, I felt a little embarrassed. I felt a little vulnerable. I thought to myself, whoa, what's happening here? Got to stop this. So, of course, I used my one and only defense mechanism that I have, and I turned it into humor, which kind of broke the mood and lightened the air a bit. But ultimately, it was a very interesting and educational experience for myself as a practitioner, as a provider, as a nurse. The point of my ramblings, as they always are, is that it's okay. I don't care how far along you are in your career as a nurse. I don't care if you've been doing this 30 years or 3 days. Emotions are a good thing. Maintain composure. Stay within your role as a nurse, but don't be afraid, don't be embarrassed to show emotions, to hold out that hand, to give that hug, to shed that tear. All of it is a good thing. I, for one, can admit wholeheartedly that every time that my family, friends, patients, while I'm at work, show some sort of emotions, that I have to do a little bit of self-talk to tell myself what I should or should not be doing and how I should be doing it. But ultimately, the emotions always take over. It's a matter of keeping it in control. This is a fair warning that these emotions are going to come out of nowhere, and they are going to continue regardless of what job you do. They're going to continue every day, every week, every month, every year. So it's your job as a nurse to make sure you can handle it. This is part of the job, once again, that we talk about. Not everyone can do this job. It's not just about the education and the skill and the acquisition, but it's being able to handle the emotional turmoil and roller coastering that happens working as a nurse. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. As always, thanks for tuning in. I always love hearing your thoughts. Drop me a comment on any and all social media circles. You can find me on Twitter at I Am Unafraid. You can find me on Facebook, my personal account, Sean Dent. You can find it on my fan page, I Am Sean Dent. I'm on Google+, blah, blah, la, la, la. Bottom line is you can find me pretty easy. Just Google me. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.